So my first question is about building building a relationship with my agent. I've had agents for years,
Hmm.
but since now that I know how to book work, um, primarily stunt acting jobs and a couple of co-star roles through stunt coordinators
Hmm.
who've been able to help me, book stunt and acting jobs. Um, I don't spend as much time connecting with my agent
Hmm.
as I probably should. I do let agents know when I'm going to be unavailable, and I've told them about my acting jobs, but I do feel like I'm missing an opportunity to connect with them and get more auditions through my agent. So, my first question: what can I be doing daily and weekly, and even monthly, to start to build that relationship with my agent? Especially now, the agent I have now, I've been with for a few years,
How
and
many
we
years?
connect. Yeah,
How many years?
3 years.
Or you had been in the business for 9 or 10 years. Then you found us. At that point, you had worked, it was inconsistent, and you were wanting to do more of the action stuff. How many jobs have you booked since that moment that the jobs came directly through your agent and manager versus how many jobs were a result of you hustling, whether that's you pushing your agent and manager to submit you, you submitting to casting, you hustling to coordinators, but you initiated. It was not your agent or manager sending you the audition. Hey, you got an audition due by Wednesday, right?
They've all come from me. They've all come from me putting myself out there, and
Oh.
yeah, and from hustling and to keeping track of names and emails, and then just following up with people on a regular basis, and creating a system for following up with stunt coordinators, a few producers now. That list slowly grows over time as you book work and you meet people and you exchange information. Um, so yeah, the list is, it's got to be it's over 500 now, but it started at just at like 100, 150 people. Yeah,
Right. And that's
yeah,
a mix of coordinators, fight coordinators, casting, directors, producers, a mix of everybody, right?
yes,
Okay,
yeah, okay.
great. How to build, develop, further the relationship with your agent and or manager for that matter. Then if we take out the agent or manager part and we just look at, well, what are the fundamentals of building relationships in general, right? So let me ask you, what is it that you're looking for? Instead of trying to guess, what do you think they want? What do you look for in a relationship? If you want to develop a relationship with somebody or somebody comes to you, then what are you looking to get from that person? What would the parameters or the qualifications be?
Right. Um, Consistent contact. Just making sure that there is some sort of equal exchange. That there's an expectation. Um, just as far as um, if it's just a friendship and it's a pleasant friendship and it's fun, that's something that I expect. Like if we're gonna go hang out, and I expect to have fun.
Fun.
Um,
Okay, so
yeah.
fun is important.
Yes.
Equality, like essentially these are the gives and the gets. You're willing to give to
Absolutely.
further the relationship, but you want to get something too. So
Absolutely.
that's normal, okay?
Yes.
Consistency is good, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll find someone else to have a relationship with or a friendship with because there's
Yes.
no consistency. Or it's like every time you ask, it's like maybe they are, maybe they aren't available. So you're looking for specific things that are going to help you maintain the relationship. These are the metrics that you want to look for, okay? And you're
Yes.
identifying. So anything else that you can think of. You want it to be fun.
Want it to be fun. There should also be. Now I'm thinking more specific about like my agent. I'm looking for more auditions and more acting auditions specifically. More feedback.
Or feedback, okay?
Yeah. That's it right now. I mean, as far as my agent's concerned.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you want more feedback, but yet you just told me that you don't really reach out and communicate with your agent as much anymore.
No, I don't.
So then, can one expect to get more feedback when there is less communication?
No, no, one should not.
Okay.
When you put it like that, yes. All right.
Well,
Right.
well, then the question is, how else should I put it?
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
So we've got some metrics here, right? Understanding with any relationship, there's give and take. And then the nature of the relationship, you are looking for equality, consistency and equality, okay? However, you have to understand that with an agent or manager client relationship, it is not an equal relationship.
Okay.
If you want equality, then you need to give them 50% of your commission, not 10. Oh, are you willing to do that?
No.
Okay, there are many reasons why actors and talent creatives, they get confused because they don't understand the actual fundamentals and the core beliefs and the parameters of the relationship, right? Now that I pointed out, well, if you want equality, just give 50%. Are you willing to do that?
It depends. It depends on how big the opportunity is. Like, if I were,
Oh, so you're saying it's conditional.
yes.
That makes it confusing though. Maybe yes, maybe no. So what are they working for?
Right.
Then that creates all these unknowns. Okay, so if you think about it, if you want the relationship to be equal, then you should make it. You have a way to make it equal in terms of the money and the percentages, but typically people don't want to do that. So then you should not expect that. But if you are willing to do that, then that is a call. Hey, I would like to discuss some of the things that I think are important, and I have a list. And I think it might be interesting for you because I realize I cannot expect certain things when you make 10% or your agency makes 10% and maybe you get 1 to 3% of that, and I take 90%. So then my expectations cannot be here unless I'm willing to increase your percentage, which I am. I would love to have that conversation, right?
Sure.
I would like this to be more equal, whether that's 40, 50%, that's a discussion, and I'm willing to compensate you accordingly.
Okay.
Now that can drastically change the perception of one who is essentially working for free until you book something, right? Okay, so it's not like you're paying them hourly, daily, weekly, or on a consistent salary. You are not paying them to do their work. They are being paid or commissioned, but you are not paying them. They're working for you for free and they have other clients. So for the 10% that they get, you have to understand what is reasonable, right? And not what I say is reasonable or industry experts say is reasonable. You just ask yourself, would you do that for someone else? If someone said, hey, Freddie, I have an opportunity to make $10,000 and I want you to work your butt off every day and I'm going to give you 10%. Are you going to jump at the opportunity?
No.
But if they said, hey, Freddie, I'm going to work my butt off, I want you to work your butt off, and I'm willing to partner with you and share 50-50, would you be interested?
Absolutely.
How much more exciting is that?
Right.
So this is where creatives oftentimes, whether they're business savvy or not, it's just not normal for actors and performers to be in a business mind when it comes to moving their career forward. They think about show business and entertainment, but they don't think of the actual transaction, marketing, pitching, selling, right? Sales, resale, and how you create those strategies and how you can incentivize people to do more for you. Because normally you hire and pay a marketing company to go out and pitch and sell you in regular business. And before you get a publicist, you essentially get an agent or manager who is acting on your behalf as your representation to pitch and market and sell you to casting and directors and studios, but they're doing it for free, like with the hope of getting the commission. So it's a totally different scenario than a straightforward business transaction. Okay?
Okay.
So you know what you want out of the relationship. What are you willing to give? So you want better auditions or more auditions. Well, then you need to be better. So we already identified that you need to communicate more, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
what materials have you provided them to keep them excited? What are you doing to keep them well fed with ammunition that they can then use to go out and pitch and sell you?
Right.
So,
Um,
what are those things?
um, Training footage from action class.
So you're sending updated training footage.
I'm sending updated training footage,
Okay.
and whenever whenever I get footage of me acting, it I send it to him, but that yeah, I haven't done that in a while.
Okay. What else?
Um, Holiday greetings, like during the holidays, I send a greeting.
Okay.
And right now,
Seasonal communication, I would say.
I'm sorry.
I would call that seasonal communication. And that could be birthday, holidays, special occasions, you're reaching out and touching base. But that is
Yeah.
not discussing your career. That's just a, hey, happy holidays. Hope you guys have a great, time. Looking forward to the new year. Like you're not discussing strategy and bringing them information that can help them move you forward. It's more about touching base, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Just to be clear.
Yes.
Okay. What else?
And that's it.
Okay. So if we go back to your list of what you're looking for, so you're looking for consistency in communication. Well, then, since you make 90% and they make 10%, who should be the one reaching out more? Feeding them more, right?
Yeah.
So then, you have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items that you want, but then you could only come up with 3 items that you are willing to do. So, and there's many categories and details in this. This is high level, right? But I want it to make sense and for it to be clear. So when you think of this relationship, how do I make my relationship better? Well, you gotta communicate better, more, right? And with what quality and integrity are you then communicating, and about what content? So then the equality part we had discussed in terms of like you can offer more. You want it to be fun. If you go out with your buddies, you want it to be fun. Well, what does that mean in terms of communicating with your agent? How can your agent make it fun for you? Well, just by default, of course, if they go, "Hey, Freddie, I got an audition for you," that's fun, right?
Absolutely.
It can be stressful as well, but I mean, that's the fun part when you get an audition and you have something to do. Okay. What else can you do to then help to encourage fun? What can you do?
Oh, I can invite my agent out to fun events, to, and if there are events that are industry related,
Yep.
invite them out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
Send more like fun messages with my. I like comedy, so a lot of my stuff is about comedy. I can come up with more content and stuff that's just um, fun to see if they like it, to see if I can get a response from them.
Yeah. Do you have a friend group where you guys share like funny memes or funny content on social media?
Um, Not much anymore.
Okay. So do you like that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Okay. Then why not try and bring your agent manager into that?
Okay.
Right? Not that, it's going to be an all day, every day type of thing, but anything that might be appropriate that you find funny, then loop them in, right? And so if you want the relationship to be more fun, if you want more auditions, rather than doing what you did before, you waited for them to give you the call, right? Instead of waiting for them to make it more fun, what can you do? You cannot control what they do, but you can control what you do. So if you make it more fun by engaging and interacting in that way, then you can take that into your own hands. It's something that you can control versus hoping that they do it. Or complaining that, well, I mean, I'm a fun guy, but like my relationship with my reps, it's just not fun. It's so stressful. Well, but did you try and make it fun? Right? Again, because of the nature of any agent manager client relationship and the business structure of it, the 90%, 10% commission structure, that metric and that relationship is so important to understand. What is it that you should be doing, making 90% versus the person making 10%? And ultimately, that person is not, unless they are the owner of the agency, right? They're not making 10%. They're making 0.5 to 3%.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So then you want more auditions, acting auditions. Well, what are you doing to get more auditions? When's the last time and how frequently are you feeding them information regarding other shows? Every time you book a stunt or stunt acting job, are you in communication with your agent and managers and letting them know, hey, I just got this audition, I'm going to be submitting. Are you working together with them or not? Or are you just doing it on your own?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
So when you do these stunt acting auditions and you know that it's going to go to casting, even though it was brought to you through the stunt coordinator, then why wouldn't you let your agent and manager know? Because you don't want them to reach out to casting and say, hey, my client is going to be sending over a tape for this role that came through the stunt coordinator. He's a fantastic actor. We had him in this, project, Lao Lao Crocodile with Javier Bardem, and he's great. Just want to let you know that we rep him. You don't think that like it didn't come into your mind to utilize them in that way. But then what do we always talk about when it comes to two candidates? One has one person referring them and another person has 3 or 4 people referring or vouching for them. Who has the better chance?
The person with 3 or 4 people vouching for.
Yeah, in general, right? And similar skill and hey, we could go this way or this way, but not only is the stunt coordinator say Freddie John James is great, he's rep by this agent said so, this manager said so, but this guy is just a stunt guy going for a stunt acting role and he has the stunt coordinator vouching for him. Who's got a better shot? This guy or you?
Right.
Right? So these are simple things that are often overlooked because, and I know this is not you, but many other stunt performers, they don't want to give the 10% to an agent and a manager when the casting call didn't come through the agent and manager. But that's the problem. The problem is people want to be individuals and they don't want to work together in teams. And they say they want to collaborate and they're happy to share, but when it comes down to it, people get greedy when it comes to their money. And the problem with that is your agent and manager, they need to eat too. And they work hard trying to get you in the door and looking out for you. A little bit goes a long way. And the goal is when you have 20% that you have to give away, 20% of nothing is nothing, right? Like all the stuff that you submit for that you don't book, you didn't make any money. And had you looped in your agent and manager, they could have been helping you build those and develop relationships with those casting directors, networks, studios, producers, but you didn't. And then in the end, you didn't make anything. They didn't make anything. You didn't have to pay anything. So you got nothing. They got nothing, and you didn't get the opportunity. But you could have ended up with nothing, but more people vouching for you to casting, to the networks, to the studios, and still ended up with no job, no money, but more goodwill, more people out there speaking your name and singing your praises that can set you up for the next one. That's where, the marketing strategy for the resale business versus a one-time sale comes
Yeah.
in, and you want to try and activate that as often as possible. Okay?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and then that also leads us into feedback. So, when agents and managers often don't want to bother casting, so a lot of the agents and managers that we're in touch with now, they don't ask for feedback. Casting's busy; they're under tighter time constraints, smaller budgets. They're working their tails off. They don't have time to give feedback. But the better relationship you have, the more that they care, the more that they see your potential because you're constantly on top of your business, then agents and managers, in the right moment, they will extend themselves. Oftentimes, they will go out of their way and say, hey, I would just like to know, you've brought Freddie in a couple times now. I would love, if you have any feedback, would love to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Must be doing something right. And they'll do that. But oftentimes they won't because you're just one of many clients, and they don't want to burn a bridge with casting asking for you. And then the casting director gets annoyed. Oh my gosh, he's asking for all this feedback. I don't have time. And then they start to distance themselves from your agent or manager. That's why they don't do it.
Okay.
So yes, it's very difficult to get feedback, but not impossible. So you should not expect it, but there are ways to increase your chances of getting it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Great.
Does that cover everything for this question?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Okay, so how to build and further a relationship with your agent and manager, then what's the one thing that stands out to you that is like the biggest priority of what you just heard?
Consistent contact with my agent and creating, being communicating whenever I have an audition and whenever I book like a stunt job.